Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of Are You Afraid of Ghosts with me, Rai, where we tell stories on the chilling, the unexplained, the uninvited. In this story today, we will still be focusing on the theme horrors at work. And in this story, I'll read out to you an email received by a lady named Adeline on her recent encounter after staying too late in the office. Let's begin. This is a story shared by Adeline on her recent encounter at her workplace somewhere in a high-story building at Raffles Place, overlooking the Singapore River. Adeline holds a mid-executive position in her company, a very well-established global brand that deals with finance. She has been working there for close to 3 years and had never encountered anything spooky until the very day itself. Just 2 weeks before the encounter, Adeline receives a new promotion to her mid-executive position, which requires her to move her office up from the first floor to the second floor of the company. The building itself is shared across different companies at different levels. Back before her promotion, Adeline would hit the nearby gym along Raffles Place almost every day after working hours so that she can skip the evening public transport crowd. She would work out from around 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. before heading back to her office to grab her things by 8:30 and head home. However, since her promotion, work piled up and she hadn't had time for workout. She would usually end work around 7:30 p.m. and would be so tired by then. However, on that one particular day, she was determined to get back on track and told herself that she will hit the gym after work even if she ends late. So upon finishing her work at around 7:30 p.m. and when almost all her colleagues have left, she got changed to her gym attire and headed down to the gym for a workout. As Adeline hadn't been in the gym for quite some time, she hadn't realized that she had spent a little bit too long over there. It was 9 p.m. then, and she quickly rushed back to her office to grab her things. As she reaches the building, she goes up the lift, and once she reaches her office floor, the lift door opens wide, but there was silence. At 9 p.m., the office was pitch black. Adeline mentioned that her office corridor works using motion sensor, so all she needs to do was to step outside and the light would turn on. However, she did also mention that when the lift door opened, her heart paused for a moment. The office was really dark. She felt fear. Adeline braced herself and stepped forward. Eventually, the lights turned on. Oh, thank goodness, she said. As she walked down the corridor, she could see that there was no one visible at all. As she walked down, she then made the turn towards the section where she was seated. There, the lights were turned off too. Now, unfortunately, according to Adeline, that section used an auto timer switch. It will only turn on at 6 a.m. and turns off at 9 p.m. She was a little too late. Adeline had no choice but to step in and walk towards her desk to grab her things. As she hurriedly walked into the dark, she only uses her phone and the light to guide her way. As Adeline was packing her things to leave, Adeline then heard sounds of someone typing just 2 cubicles away from her. It was as if someone was actually in the office and was still working late. So Adeline paused for a second. Am I really sure I'm hearing this right? Who would work in the dark office? Also, I see no visible light coming off any screen. Adeline tried not to suspect anything at all. She continued to pack her things, and then came the typing keyboard sound. This time, slightly louder and slightly faster. Adeline suddenly felt fear, but she also didn't dare to check, and she also didn't dare to look. So she immediately packed her things and left her desk and walked towards the entrance of the section earlier. There, the corridor outside, the lights were still on. Now, just as she was about to step out of the dark section, Adeline then heard a voice coming from behind her. A soft, sharp, yet very clear. It said, "Bye, Adeline." Adeline's heart raced. She quickly ran towards the lift lobby, not even turning her head behind to look or find out who just spoke to her. As she waited anxiously at the lobby all by herself, Adeline could see from the reflections of the lift metal door that the corridor lights turned off from the end section of the office all the way down one by one towards the lift lobby. Choo, choo, choo. Like as if the lights were chasing after her. Adeline started panicking. She quickly pressed the lift button multiple times, hoping it would quickly arrive. And then, the sound of the lift arriving and the door finally opens. Adeline immediately rushes into the lift. She pressed 1 and hurriedly pressed the close door button multiple times. She pressed as fast as possible. And according to Adeline, she couldn't think straight then. Her mind was racing with the wildest imaginations. And just as the door was about to close, the final auto sensor lights at the lobby turned off. And standing there at the lift lobby was a silhouette of a tall, dark shadow overlooking her as the door finally closes. Adeline screamed in fear and fell backwards in the lift. The journey in the lift was excruciating. She mentioned that she was panting and she was scared to death. And when the door finally opens at level 1, she was about to run out until she realized the uncle pops out right in front of her. It was a security uncle. Ma'am, are you okay? I saw lobby. Ma'am, I know. I wanted to come and find you when I saw you running in the CCTV, ma'am. I said Adeline, stuttering through her words. Ma'am, go home, ma'am. Go home, said the uncle hesitantly. Adeline managed to leave the office building and left for home. But for the next 2 days, she didn't come to work. She took medical leave, stating that she wasn't in the right mind to work. The visuals of what she saw that night haunted her. And eventually on the 3rd day, she felt slightly better, braving herself to return to the office. As she arrives at her desk on the 3rd day, her colleagues notice a change in Adeline's personality. Adeline seems more quiet, reserved, fearful. And every time her work ends at 6 p.m. sharp, she would quickly pack and leave the office, unlike her usual routine. And then on one of the days, she spotted the security uncle that she saw during her encounter then at level 1. The uncle gently approached her and said in a firm yet stern tone, "Don't stay in your office floor after 9 p.m. anymore, miss." Like as if the uncle knew something about it. After months passed, Adeline felt calmer to stay in the office slightly later till around 7:30 p.m. but would always leave before the office does empty. She didn't know what she encountered, but she was also not sure if it was real. But soon, the story became the buzz of the office, with some of her colleagues mentioned to experience something quite similar to her if they choose to stay late alone in the office, especially after 9 p.m. And that is the end of Adeline's story. For those of you who work late at night, I wish you all the best. I wish you are protected all the time. And I'm pretty sure nothing is ever out there to get you. But if they are, and you know what to do. So then, thank you so much for listening to this story. If you enjoy this podcast, please don't forget to share, like, rate it, so that we can continue to share the fear of ghosts to others too.